We have a very special guest
Yes,
today.
I'm
I believe in
love it.
chance meetings, so I knew who you were because we have the same divorce attorney, Tracy Rizzo. By the way, she's the best in the business. But I met you on Sunday, or no, was it Saturday? Is your microphone
No,
on?
it's not on.
You got to turn his microphone on. Wait, can you help him out there?
Oh,
Yeah, I'm like, I need you to
hit the red button.
hit the red button.
Is it lit up now?
Hello.
No.
There,
There
it is.
you
Yeah,
go.
you're
All right,
on.
you don't
Oh, you
touch
can
any
hear?
other buttons.
Hey.
Okay.
You're great. But I met you Saturday at a open house at a church, wine and a church tour.
Oh.
I'm like, oh, I like God and I like wine. Well, this is perfect. And because
Wait.
we have the same divorce attorney. Yes, sir.
A wine and
There's a
what he
wine
told to talk about?
tasting.
Okay.
Like a wine walk.
Fundraiser at the church, and I can't. It's a Polish church. It's Catholic. What's the name of it?
Oh,
See?
St. Maria something.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's in
Yeah,
it's
gorgeous.
right off of Chicago Avenue. So, and you told me you ran to your car and you got this book, Ice Water Please: My Life as a Proud Alcoholic and a Formula to Help One Person Stop Drinking Forever. So I started reading it. I am on page 13.
That's not bad.
I thought it was a little further along, but
Oh,
I'm,
wow.
I'm very busy. I get home late and have to get up early. But I love this book because everything you talk about are places that I know. It's a real neighborhood book. So let's start with this. How were you first introduced to alcohol?
I
'Cause you
grew
grew
up.
up-
I
yeah.
grew up in a neighborhood that, obviously, in the north side of Chicago, people drank, and at a very, very early age. And I would say, like, to start at 13 years old, I would say would be you're a late bloomer. And it was when I was started at like 15 years old. Do you remember Chicago Fest?
Oh, I do. Yes, yes.
Okay,
yes.
and there
John,
was
you remember that?
it was like really called, it was Drunken Teenager Fest, right?
Yes.
And before that, my mom was taking me because I wanted to see the Scorpions.
Uh-huh.
I love that band. And before the concert, it was like 3:00 in the afternoon. I was in in the basement of my parents' house, and remember they used to have Chivas Regal, and they used to have the bottles that kind of flipped over with the big bottles. That was my first drink, was a shot of that,
Dang.
and because I wanted to get ready for the concert, and I had that shot, and I'm like, wow, nothing happened.
Huh?
And
Come
so I did number 2, quickly number 3,
Oh,
and as I
boy.
remember, like 7 or 8 of them.
Oh.
And next memory I have is my mom crying over me, and I'm laying in bed. Obviously, Scorpions was over. I
Right.
didn't make it to the concert, and all I thought about was, this is the best feeling in my life.
Really?
I was sick, but I was like, how can I feel like this again? This is great.
Wow.
My mom is very angry with me. That sucks. However, I got to do whatever I can to feel like this again.
Wow. So in your book, you talk about like the last straw. So walk us through what happened that night.
Oh,
Because you'd been arrested before for DUI.
no, this was the first. I went to a Chicago Cubs rooftop party, and I've been to, like, I don't know, 50 of these. I don't think I've ever seen a pitch.
Yeah.
And it was just, it's just drinking for me. And I hardly ever drink and drive. But in this particular case, I had my car.
Mm-hmm.
But I was very conscious of it. I had about 7 or 8 beers at the rooftop party, which was, obviously near Wrigley Field.
Mhm.
And then I was like, okay, I need to kind of take it easy here. And so I drove near my house, which was in Edison Park, to Zia's, which was a few of my buddies there.
I love that restaurant,
Yeah,
by the way. I
great.
go there all the time.
Great
Right.
spot. And so there was a few of my buddies there. I had, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 single malt scotches. At that point, I
Oof.
really was into that, which I love.
Wow.
And so now we're up to what, like 11 drinks?
Hey.
So there was like a members event at the Park Ridge Country Club, of which I was a member at the time, called Play Day.
Mm-hmm.
And there, I got there like at midnight. I took my buddies with me. I probably had another, I'm going to say 10 to 12 scotches there. So now we're up to what, 22 drinks?
Tolerance level.
Yeah. No, I could drink. And at that point, and mind you, the Park Ridge Country Club was a block and a half from my house. So now it's 3:30, and I decide to do the smart thing and drive home.
Oh.
And
Instead of just walking, you could have
instead
walked.
of walking, yeah. And because I didn't want to get my wife at the time angry with me. So, because where's the car? And so I made it about a half a block, and I crashed my car, and I had to be taken out of there by the jaws of life, taken to Lutheran General Hospital in Park Ridge, and they drew blood, and at the time it was 0.31,
Woo!
which is almost 4 times over the legal limit.
It is 4 times.
Yeah, and it was
So
like the second highest blood alcohol in the history of Cook County, which I thought was a very remarkable feat. And that's when, my wife looked and said, Eddie, if you have another drink, I will divorce you.
Mm-hmm.
And I never had another drink after that, but still divorced me, but it's not the point of the story.
And you have you've got a family, you've got kids.
Right.
Were you in the hospital for a long time, or what?
I was
what
in the
next step?
hospital for 3 days. I had a
Mhm.
bunch of like broken bones. But I was still, I was lucky to be alive. You ever seen a picture of the car? I don't know how I made it. Like God.
And you're
like,
lucky you didn't
intervened.
kill anybody.
Oh, 100%.
Single vehicle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the car was totaled. I mean, it's a miracle I made it through that accident.
And then did you go to treatment for a month or what?
No, my lawyer at the time, Frank DeFranco from Park Ridge, the best, by the way, he said to me, "Hey, Eddie, listen, I know you don't have a problem, but go to one of these AA meetings, would you? The judges like that when they think you're taking care of your problem. I know you're fine. Don't worry about it." And he knew full well that I had a major drinking problem. He just didn't want to embarrass me and said, just go to these. He goes, go to these BS AA meetings. Don't it helps. And I'm like, all right, because I was told do whatever he says. I was in a lot of trouble, and I went to the meeting, my first AA meeting, and I told everybody, hi, my name is Eddie. I'm an alcoholic, and that was super, super important to me because I had never, ever told anybody that I was an alcoholic. I never made it public, although looking back on it, 99.9% of the people that I knew I was an alcoholic. And I knew I was an alcoholic. I just was trying to, hide this secret, or so I thought that I had from everybody else, so I can continue to drink like I wanted to drink.
Gosh, we could have you on the show for an hour, but we're kind of up against clock. But in your book, you talk about that you have the formula to help one person stop drinking forever. Is this the AA formula? Or
Not
is this
really.
something different?
I would say the only
We
thing
can't
that
really get into the AA formula. 'cause
right.
it's-
No. And the thing is, you have to want it yourself. If you're doing it to get your wife back, to get a boyfriend back, a girlfriend back, to get a job back, it's never going to work. You have to do it for yourself and yourself only, and everything else falls back into place.
What do you say to someone who's probably listening right now, who, they say, well, I'm not an alcoholic. What's your message to them about, and how would someone know that they are an alcoholic? I mean, you had
If you are
0.31.
if you're questioning whether you're an alcoholic, I think the answer is very, very, very simple. If you're thinking about it, you probably are one. There are consequences that have happened to you because of your drinking. And it's not just one or two. It's a lot, and they all have to do with your drinking. We were just talking earlier when you're saying the big saying that says, every time I've been drunk, I haven't not necessarily gotten into trouble. But every time I've gotten into trouble, I've been drunk.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
All right.
powerful.
So the book is called Ice Water, Please. My Life as a Proud Alcoholic and a Formula to Help One Person Stop Drinking Forever. Where can we get this?
You can get it on Amazon.
All right. Wait, real quick, what was it like? I mean, was this cathartic to write this book?
Oh,
Was
my
it-
God. It was the best experience of my life. When I first wrote it, my editor said, Eddie, this is possibly the worst book I've ever read.
Really?
Yeah, she said, she goes, how many books do you want to sell? She goes, this is it's like, it was a collection of drinking stories.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And she goes, if you want to sell 10 to 15 books, you did the best job possible. Congratulations. Said, you're supposedly the hero in this book. She goes, I can't stand you. I want to know who Eddie Arana is. And then I took every one of her 11 pages of suggestions and redid it, meaning she wanted to know who my family was, what the reasons were that I drank, how I stopped. I just wrote a collection of drinking stories that I thought were funny.
Right.
They are funny.
Right.
But, it was really enlightening me. It became almost a love story of my parents
yeah.
and my kids.
Yeah, I really quickly, I help people write books myself, and I'm actually writing my own right now. And so that's what so many people do. They sit up there, they just tell stories.
Yeah.
No, people need to, as you're reading a book, people need to start painting that picture of the movie in their head as they're reading your book. And that's what I tell a lot of people to do. I've helped a lot of people write books, and that's one of the
great
things
advice.
Yeah.
I wish I would have known that when I
Yeah.
started.
I know. All right. Well, such a pleasure having you come in, and I'm so glad that we met by chance at a church.
Yeah, well, thank you. And I was listening to the show on the way here, and I'm like, wow, there's so many intelligent people on this radio show.
Well, you
And
should
I'm like,
listen
well-
more often, Eddie.
Well,
like
I'm just saying
every day.
your streak is broken with me.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry to hear.
No,
Sorry to say.
we like to feature real Chicagoans too.
deprecating.
And
Oh,
good.
Congratulations
Yeah,
to
I'm a
you.
real-
And
Thank
how
you
many
very
years
much for
sober have you been?
It'll be 20 years on July
Yes.
15th.
Congrats.
Good
And
for you.
You're invited to my dinner.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. And he joined us in studio at the Signature Bank studio.
Chicago's Morning Answer.
Your show keeps me alive during the week. There's nobody I'd rather listen to between 5 and 9 in the morning than you guys.
On AM 560, The Answer.
Hi, I'm Gary Rabine, founder of Rabine Paving.